Hi, I'm Lori. Welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be making a really pretty swag. We're actually going to take 2 Dollar Tree candy canes. So when I went over to my Dollar Tree recently, they had these candy canes on sale for like 63 cents. And so we're going to take it and we're going to make it into a swag for Valentine. I super love this rose gold, and it's such a great color for Valentine's. I also have this beautiful rose gold and gold and gold. The great thing about Valentine's is you can use some of your leftovers from Christmas. If it's red, gold, pink, white, for Valentine's. It's still winter time. You can still use a lot of the same colors. And so that's what we're going to do. This mesh is absolutely gorgeous. So let's get started. Okay, so you can see I can take the 2 candy canes and I can line them up. Now I'm going to bend them just a little bit around this corner here and around that corner so that they line up a little bit better and make almost kind of like a racetrack. And then I'm going to take a couple zip ties. I'm going to zip tie these together at the crossbars. That's going to hold them together. There we go. All right, so we have our frame put together. I'm just kind of pushing that zip tie underneath. Okay, and I'm going to take out some pipe cleaners. And I'm actually going to go down the middle. So I'm going to kind of start using one of the crossbars, cross like this, and then use this crossbar. So I'm going to go all the crossbars first. I just thought this would make such a fun little centerpiece or swag. You can use it either way. So you see how I'm just kind of going under both. Okay, so right now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 ties on here. I'm going to put a little extra right here around these corners. I'm going to make those a little tighter just to kind of keep that in place. So we'll end up with 16 ties. So very similar to a round wreath, or very close. Okay, so they're gonna be spaced out about 3 to 4 inches around, all the way around. So I'm gonna take this mesh, I'm gonna put it on my mesh roller. Okay, so you can see I have it loaded on. And what I'll do is let the mesh roller hold it up while I'm going around the wreath. It just keeps it up and out of the way. So I'm going to start about right here. And I'm going to start by using a zip tie. I like to use zip ties when I start a wreath with the poof method, because it allows me to have a nice clean look, so I can use the zip tie as my first tie. Then when I come back around, I can use that tie and you won't be able to tell. Okay, so right here, I'm using the crossbar because it's just more secure. Okay, so I want about 8 inches or so. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to this first tie, the second tie, and then I'm going to come back. And this is going to give us about an 8-inch poof. And then I'm going to spread it out. Okay, so this is a 10-inch mesh. So again, 1, 2, and back. Spread it out. 1, 2, and back. Spread it out. Isn't that so pretty? 1, 2. Okay, and back. We're going to do this same thing all the way around. Okay, so we have made it back to where we started. And I am going to do this last one, but I did want to point out a couple little things. You want to make sure when you're making your poofs that you have this sharp edge tucked underneath. And then I just kind of use my hands like this to keep it kind of together underneath so that my poofs will all look uniform. So now you can see I can use this tie, and then we're not going to be able to tell where we started and where we stopped. So that's why I like to use a tie there. Okay, and then I'm just going to trim it off. And I'm going to take this little piece, I'm going to kind of push it underneath the frame, and I'm going to tie it down with another zip tie. This just keeps it from popping out. This just kind of helps it look nice and neat. Okay. We can trim off any excess. So we have our basic shape. Now we're going to put in some more mesh to kind of fill it in and just make it look really pretty. I have another roll of the rose gold with gold. This actually has stripes on the edges. So we're going to take this and we're going to cut it into 20-inch pieces. We're also going to cut up some of what's left over. So for this beautiful mesh here, we're going to cut this into curls. So we're just going to cut 10-inch pieces. Then we're going to take this mesh, we're going to cut 20-inch pieces. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our 20-inch pieces and we're going to make ruffles. And we're going to take our 10-inch pieces and we're going to make curls. So to make a ruffle, you want your mesh to lay flat the direction that it comes off of the roll. So you can see this is the pretty side, this is the opposite side. So if I put it on this opposite side, you can tell it's upside down. So you want it to want to curl inside itself. You'll know you have the right direction. I'm going to just kind of tuck a little edge under, and I'm going to use my tool to make the ruffles. I'm going to push it with my thumb and kind of just use my fingers to keep everything straight. Then I'm going to curl under that edge. I wanted to do something with ruffles because I really like the look of the ruffles. But this mesh at the bottom is so pretty, I want it to be back up top. So I'm going to use both. I'll take the curl and put it right on top of the ruffle. So we'll have kind of the best of both worlds. Then we're going to take this beautiful ribbon. This would also be wonderful for Mother's Day. This is a great color combination for Mother's Day as well. I'm going to cut 13-inch 16 13-inch tails. I like to use my ribbon comb, but you can use your mat or whatever else works. I also do mine at the same time. I'm also going to dovetail these, so I'm going to fold it in half, and I'm going to cut up towards that wired edge. Then I'm going to take my 2 ribbons. I'm going to fold them in half, so find the middle, pinch, get a little bit of curl underneath, and then place it right in on top of my curl. Then I'll pull the whole thing out and bring it over and add it on. Just like this. So I'm going to curl these a few times, or twist these a few times, and then tuck it down. And then I'm going to kind of spread out my ribbon. Just like that. Okay, let's do another one. So tuck under the edge, go straight up the center, tuck again, take one of our curls, place it down. Grab a ribbon, pick the whole piece up, put it down right there at the tie. And I'm going to lift up both ruffles and let them push each other up so that everything will be nice and full. And then we'll spread out our ribbons. Look how pretty that is. Okay, so let's do it once without the Deco Mesh tool. Okay. So I have to use the Deco Mesh tool because I have problems with my hands, and my hands will cramp up if I'm doing a lot of this. Okay, so you're going to do the same thing, but you're going to push with your thumbs and pull with your fingers. So you're just kind of gathering it by doing the pulling motion with your fingers. Now, it is harder to do this part, so you can take your ruffle, go ahead, tie it down, then take your curl, tie it down, and then your ribbons. So I'm going to do this same process all the way around. Okay, we have the basic part done. Look how beautiful and full that is. Now you could easily get away with doing 14. You really don't need 3 on the end. I like my wreath super full, but this is so pretty. Okay, so I made a little heart to go on this. Okay, and then we're going to do a big pretty bow down here. So let's get started on the bow. I have some 4-inch gold ribbon, and then of course I have our pink with the gold and then our gold. So this is just going to give it a nice backing. We don't have to use a lot of this. We're going to do about a 16-inch tail. I am going to dovetail it, so fold it in half, cut toward that wired edge. So 16-inch tail. I love this. It's glittered, so it's nice and stiff. Okay, so we're going to do 7-inch loop. So what you do is you go, I like to go sideways down in the bow maker. I will use the measurements on the bow maker to figure out where my loop goes. So I can actually hold my finger there, go down sideways, and if you are, go down sideways, and then you're going to twist it on the opposite side. You're only twisting it once. Okay. We're going to do 3 loops so that we have a little bit coming up to the top. Then I'm just going to pull it out and dovetail it. Now, your tails do not have to be the same length. Okay. Now we're going to come in with this beautiful pink. We're going to dovetail that. We're going to make this about 18 inches. Okay. All right, so there we twisted, and we're going to do 6-inch loops. So all I do is move that ribbon aside, and then I can see where that 6 inch is on the bow maker. Okay, move it aside, and then I can see where it is. So I go down sideways, I twist on the opposite side of the loop. Okay. There. There. We're doing 3 of these. Okay. There. I can just pull it out, trim it off. This ribbon is so pretty. It does kind of almost look like lace, pointed out by Z. So we did 3 loops at 6 inches. Now we're going to do 2 loops with this gold. We're going to do these a little bit longer, so about 20 inches, because we're going to put a little curl in them. All right, so twist. The reason you're twisting is to get a really nice full bow. Okay, so I just measure it out to these loops. We're going to do 2 of these. So see how I just kind of measured out to that loop? I go in sideways, twist it. You're just twisting a half turn. So just to get the right side of the bow back up. Okay, and then we'll trim it off. I'm going to add one extra ribbon. This has the rose gold down the edges. Okay, so I'm just going to do 1 loop with this, just to add in a little bit of interest. So right now they have all of the Christmas stuff on sale at Hobby Lobby, and things like this you can use for Valentine. So now we're just going to grab our zip tie. You want a longer zip tie. This is about 12 inches. You want to run it underneath one side. Make sure you have it under all the ribbon. And just get it started. So one little click. Okay. And then use that to pull it out. Might click up a little bit more and that's okay. And then it's very easy to see where that indentation is from the bow maker. You want to hold your bow on one side, slide it around. That way, none of your ribbon are going to move. And then you can put it in that channel to keep it in place. I'm just going to run a pipe cleaner underneath the zip tie. Recheck and make sure it's still in that indentation. And then I'm going to tie it really tight. If you have trouble with that, you can get these zip tie guns. And what you do is you put the zip tie in, and then you use the little lever, and it will tighten it and trim it. Okay. So before I do anything, I am going to pull my ribbons out. So I'm just going to kind of separate them. It's easier for me to do that first. Make sure I get things where they want to, or where I want them to go. Okay. And if I have any pieces I need to correct, this is the time to do it. Okay. Once I do that, I'm going to start fluffing. So you can see how this is kind of stuck down in there. I want to break that out. So if you hear me say break the bow, that's what it means. You pull those pieces out. It's much easier to do it if you've loosened it. So to loosen it, you kind of fold it back and forth, and that helps loosen it from that zip tie. So that's why I do that. And then I can get nice big loops. Otherwise, your loops are not going to fluff out as well as you want them to. Oh, this ribbon is gorgeous. There we go. Let's do the other side. Another thing is make sure when you're, especially if you're new to bow making, that you do one side and then the other. If you're going back and forth and you're a new bow maker, you are going to get confused, and then you're going to have problems where your bow's not going to look right, and you're going to be frustrated trying to figure out why, and it's going to just be that you got confused going back and forth. It's very easy to do. Okay, so now I'm going to take my 1.5 inch and I'm going to curl it up. I'm just going to use my thumb and just kind of go around my thumb like this and pull it down. Just like this. This is one of the reasons that we use wired ribbon. The other reason is it's just easier to fluff it up later. There we go. Okay. All right. Now we can trim off our zip tie. Oh, how pretty is that? So our bow's going to go down here, and our heart's going to go up here. So let's put the heart in first. Okay. I have a pipe cleaner on here, but it is going to be difficult to get it all the way down. So I'm going to take a second pipe cleaner. Just kind of add that on. And then I'm just going to kind of go down in between the mesh. Find the frame. Okay, so just like this. I'm going to go around the frame. And then I'm going to tie these other two together. And I went around all the way around. And then I'll just tie those off together. and this will help hold this in place. All right, and then the bow. I'm going to take the bow and I'm going to go right down around the frame, just kind of in between the mesh, and I'm going to twist it around the frame. I'm going to show you. This way I can keep my bow in place. Okay. So I pulled it down, tied it here. Now I'm going to pull it down and I'm going to tie it here. This way I can keep the bow in place where I want it. There we go. Now the bow will stay exactly where I want it and it won't move. And then I can just kind of fluff it a little bit and make sure it's where I want it to be. Okay, let's take a look at it. There we go. Look how beautiful that is. We've got our bow on here. I did pull one of the loops up top. Then we have our heart right in there. There we go. Isn't that pretty? Now, if you wanted to put this as a centerpiece on a table, then you could make several of these and kind of go down the center. A sign would also look really good. Okay, so the other alternative is to use a sign. So I wanted to show you what it looks like if you do a sign. So I'm just going to take a 10-inch sign. I'm going to get 2 pieces of about 20 inches of 26 gauge wire. I'm just going to use my metal hole punch to punch a hole in the bottom and in the top. I'm just going to run the wire through the hole. I like to double it up and then just kind of tighten it right at the sign. Okay. So with the sign, I like to use a weaving needle. It's a little bit easier to get it through. So I just kind of load the wire on the weaving needle and I can go right down through the mesh. And then I'm just going to twist it around the frame. Just twist the wire right around the frame. Okay. And then this side I'll be able to kind of run through the middle, go to the frame and twist it around. Okay. Okay, and here it is with the sign. I really like it with the sign. You could even still add in your little heart somewhere, even down in here. So that just looks super cute. So I hope you enjoyed this. Make sure to like and subscribe and hit the bell icon to know when we're going to be uploading content and when we'll be going live. Thanks for watching. Bye, y'all.